was 8 years old. So this one day, it was really early in the morning and everyone was getting ready for work and school. My mom was mad at my sister and she was yelling at her because she couldn't find her sweater for her school uniform. And my mom just kept yelling, "Can you hurry up? We're gonna be late." So of course, in a hurry, my sister was looking through her closet trying to find this sweater. While she was looking through her closet, she accidentally cut herself with something that was in there. Fast forward a little while later, we arrived to school and somehow the nurse saw my sister's arm with a cut. And she also seen that my sister was crying. But the only reason she was crying was because my mom yelled at her. So my nurse, La Dramatica, called CPS and I ended up getting pulled out of class and so did my sister. After that, I got questioned a lot of personal things and that's when I realized that the school nurse was the one that called CPS. After that, my mom had to come and pick us up and on the way home, my mom started ranting about her dad. And the thing that made me cry personally was that she told me that my dad wanted her to abort me. She was pregnant with me. So after that, I tried to jump out of the car and my sister ended up getting kicked out of the house. But what makes it even worse is that the only reason this started was because of a sweater. And the reason my sister couldn't find that sweater is because I was wearing it.
Am I wrong for leaving my mother-in-law's funeral after my husband lied to me? So my mother-in-law, my husband's mom, passed away 2 weeks ago. She lived hours away in her hometown and we had to drive 6 hours to get there and attend the funeral later. At first, I didn't want to go and the reason is because of my brother-in-law, Michael. He's my husband's half-brother. Mother-in-law isn't his mom. Michael and I had some issues in the past that I will not elaborate on. I went low contact with him, then full on no contact. I asked my husband if Michael was going to be there and he said it was a no-brainer since he and mother-in-law had a close relationship. I didn't want to go and my husband argued about it for hours, then came home later and said that Michael would not be there due to travel issues. He lives in another state. I decided to go with my husband, but later on, I was shocked to see Michael walk up to us with his wife and daughter. I froze in my spot and looked at my husband because he lied about him not coming. I did not confront him because they embraced each other and started crying. His wife was watching as I turned around and walked away. I went to a hotel and stayed there. My husband called right after the funeral and was lashing out, calling me ridiculous and unbearable for pulling the stunt and for walking out of the funeral and leaving him there alone. I said he lied to me about Michael's presence at the funeral and he wasn't alone. Apparently he had his family with him. He got loud saying that I was insane to expect his half-brother to miss the funeral of his stepmother and told me to get a clue. I felt so unsaid that I started crying when he said that I was useless. I packed and went home, but he further argued that I showed no empathy or support by not only walking out of the funeral, but also going home as well. We argued when he came home and I explained again how he lied to me, but he kept saying that it was illogical to expect Michael not to show up. He told me that I was stuck up and need to get over myself. So am I wrong for leaving after I felt uncomfortable by Michael's presence? Edit. It doesn't matter what Michael did and what issues we had. A lot of family were calling me harsh for the no contact, but that's the boundary I put and it should be respected no matter the reason behind it. When Michael first saw me, he looked at his wife and she looked at me like she was watching my reaction. There were kids around and I tried to act as calm as I could.
This is a story time on how I almost got kidnapped and I was too drunk to even think straight. So as many of you may know, I used to live in Dominican Republic. Like, I am Dominican. So I had just turned 18, which is the legal age to drink in Dominican Republic. So it was February 14th, Valentine's Day. My friends and I wanted to go out. So we go out to this bar, that very well-known bar in my hometown. And we're just having a good time, living it up. Keep in mind, every time we went out, we never had to pay for anything. We always had someone paying for our drinks. So we got there at 10, and it was probably like 12, almost 1 o'clock. And we're like, there's like nothing here. Why don't we go to a different city? So we're like, oh shit, okay, fine. Like, I guess let's just go home. Until we see one of our like girlfriends and she's like talking to this guy that she supposedly knows. And she's like, oh, he told us if we wanted to go to, the next city. And I was really tired, but I didn't want to be like the party pooper. So I was like, okay, let's go. Now, mind you, where we're going, it's about 45 minutes away, but whatever. We get there and like it's popping. Like everyone's like, it's really like a really nice environment. So I was like, okay, I didn't want to come, but now, I don't regret coming. So it was 5 o'clock in the morning and we were still partying. And I was like blacked out drunk. Like I was mixing everything, beer, tequila, rum, literally everything. And finally the guy was like, okay, girls, let's go home. And here's where it starts. So on our way home, we're still like 30 minutes away from home. This guy says, so who's the one that's going to stay with me? And I'm like, sir. So as mentioned, I couldn't even talk, but I hear my best friend and she's like, excuse me? Okay, hold on. Go to part 2. So my friend was like, excuse me? And he's like, yeah, she told me, like the friend that was originally talking to him, she told me that one of you would, go home with me. So I could hear my friend go off on him saying, like, no one ever said that to you. You offered us to, like, bring us here, party, and have a good time. And now you're asking for something in exchange. So my best friend is over here, like, panicking, and she's, like, arguing with him. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, I could hear all of this, but I could not function. I couldn't even talk, to be honest with you. And I believe she told me that I was, like, laughing at the whole situation. So he drove us into, like, a plantain field. I don't know if anyone knows what that is, but he's like, I'm not moving out of here. You guys aren't leaving my car until someone pays up for, like, everything that I lost today. The only thing that saved us was that it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and some workers for that plantain field were like walking in, and they're like, what is going on here? Blah, blah, blah. So we had to explain to him what was going on, and he was like, I don't care what's going on, like, you guys need to do your stuff, like, out of here. You guys can't be here. So he literally left us there like 30 minutes away from home and drove away. Like, he was pissed. Like, you could see all of the dirt, like, when you like drive away and there's like a lot of dirt? Yeah, that's what we saw. Anyways, I was forced to call my uncle. We ended up waiting for him for like 2 hours. Anyways, we saw him like a couple weeks later, and he was like, I am so sorry for what happened. I was very drunk. I would never do that to any woman. And after all of that, we're like, never again. That's never gonna happen to us ever again. We're not gonna have any man pay for anything. We're just gonna pay for everything ourselves, because people are scary out here.
You know how it's always the nights that you don't expect to be that fun that end up being like the best night ever? Last night was one of those nights. I'm like coming down from a cold right now, so I was not in the mood to go out last night. Like, you can hear my voice, I'm still kind of sick. My friend was like, okay, come over, we're gonna have a chill little girls night, nothing crazy. And our apartment has a hot tub, so she was like, just bring your bathing suit and we could just like go to the hot tub and relax. Well, at first it started off super chill. Like, we were just in the hot tub, there was like 3 of us, and it was fun. And then one of our other friends wanted to come, but we were like ready to get out of the hot tub because we were just like over it. But then our friend coming late like begged us to stay longer, so we're like, okay, fine, we'll like stay for a little bit longer. And as we're leaving, there's like a party going on in the other end of the hallway. I think there was an amenities room or something. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Persian music, because I have a lot of Persian friends, so I can kind of tell when it's their music. And I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds so fun, I want to go, I want to see it. And we were all just kind of like, what's going on over there? And then there was a guy in the hallway, and he was like, yo, if you guys want to come, like, come check it out. Keep in mind, we're all like hair in a bun, no makeup, bathing suits with like towels over us, but this guy was like, no, come check it out. And as we walk in, I felt so uncomfortable at first, because it wasn't even this guy's party, it was like another girl's like 30th birthday party. Getting so many like bad glares, and I was like, we look like, they're all judging us, they all look good, and we look like garbage. Then we meet the birthday girl and her mom, and the first thing her mom does is like, oh, welcome girls, like, thank you for coming, have so much fun. Like, gave us like a bunch of food, like gave us like 5 stacks of like takeout containers, was like, take it. And the birthday girl comes up to us and she's like, do one of you guys live here? And we're like, yeah. And then she's like, you guys should go change and come back and like actually party with us. I shit you not, we start sprinting. Like, I've never seen 4 girls run that fast in our lives. Sprinting to my friend's apartment, or ripping up her apartment, just finding dresses, shoes, everything. The girls were throwing on like bronzer, mascara, we don't have anything. We go back down, security's like trying to kick them out, but she was like, get in girls, like, you can't kick us out now, they just got here. Like, and then we're immediately on the dance floor. Our little mom of the night, our Persian mom of the night, was living her life, pulled us into the dance floor. We're dancing with her, we're dancing with all the aunties. There was this after party we went to briefly, hated it, came back, and I was like, yo, I wonder if they would give us some cake. So we go back to the party room, and then our little Persian mom was there. She's like, take everything. She gave us so much food, and it was the best time ever.